Okay, great. I think it's recording. Yep.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so let's just start with what I want to start with. Let's tell me all the things, the September PD, and
Okay.
I know we did it last time, but let's just repeat what it was, if you hit your goal, what you've got for October, the next few months, all the things, clubs, fundraisers, goals.
Okay, I wrote them all down. So
Perfect.
PB was 2540,
Which is
and my goal was 2,000.
Yeah, crushed it.
And then my recruit was 3. I had planned for 1, so hey, that was good.
That was awesome. Crushed that one too.
Let's see. My October through January party count. I'll have 3 in October.
Okay.
I have 1 starting Sunday.
Okay.
Random work lady was like, I want to have a party. I was like, yes. And then November, I have 1 planned for the beginning. I don't have a mega yet. Working on it.
Okay.
And then I'll probably have my own.
Yeah.
And then I don't have any for December yet.
Okay.
Okay, that's coming. I have 1 club, but I still have spots open in that club.
Okay.
And
how big of a club did you do? Did you do the 4-month or the 6-month or?
A 3-month.
Okay.
So, and with this one, I might do like every other. So it might be like this month in December and then February. That way they don't have to.
Especially when you're trying to get someone, when it still has holes, sometimes that works too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see where we. Oh, fundraisers. I have 1 for this month, and then I have 1 for January.
Awesome.
And then my monthly parties and monthly recruits, I want to have at least 4 parties a month and at least 2 recruits a month.
Okay. And how is this month looking? Do you have any potentials for recruits this month?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to.
I know, and that's, yeah, and I want that to be a big push. That's going to be part of what I want to talk about today for everyone with that $17 wallet. It's just a great conversation. Doesn't mean that everyone's going to join with the $17 wallet, but it gives us a reason. We always need a reason, right? To message people, and it gives us that reason. Have you messaged at all? Because I'll be transparent. I haven't even done it.
I've done a few, not as many as I would have liked to, but I've done a few.
Well, and there's still time, and that's just it. There's still time. So that's what I want us to be our big push. I want you to fill your, because if we start there, then we're going to get the rest of the November parties that we want, and the December party. You know what I mean? So if we really focus on that in the next 9 days or whatever it is, today's what, 22nd? Yeah, 9 days.
Yeah.
If you focus hard on recruiting right now, it's going to get you the parties, and that's my mindset right now. Is I'm just going to ask everybody and their stinking brother. About the 17, literally, right? Because I've had a boy join now.
Oh, awesome.
He didn't do anything. He ended up doing nothing. But the $17 wallet and just extra money for Christmas, free Christmas presents. You know, there's so much to offer right now. This is the time that a lot of people are looking for a side gig. So we need to start there and then start sliding. Okay, so since they're not on here, you weren't on the last one either, were you? It was Derica and...
Yeah, I wasn't on the last one.
Amy. Okay. So this works out because the last recording didn't work. So I'm actually going to do the career path again, because we kind of, I was camping and my internet kept going in and out.
Okay.
So this will be perfect because I'll actually go over the career path still, and we'll be recording it. Then everybody will be on the same page, because some people are not understanding, what DIQ is and all of that. So let me do the share screen here and get us on my.
Because I printed what TOT had. So I have that, the career path 2020.
Yep. And you legitimately want to know that front and back. And not overnight, don't overwhelm yourself with it, but you really do. I mean, eventually it's really is what you want to know.
Okay. Well, I already wrote my goals. So my goal for November was
look at you. Notebook, I love it.
And then January is DIQ. So.
Yes. I think you can. And I want to talk about that timing of some of that too, because January, as you know, is a J month, and we've talked about how we need to be booking our January now. And it's not that you can't come back from it, but one of the things that can be I don't even know how I want to word it. Let's just say not fun. Like a really big thing that can happen in this business that's not fun is to DIQ 1 month and then not hit the director status still the next month because you have to DIQ again. So we're going to
Yeah.
go, but that's, and it just can be a super big downer. So that's why you always want to be looking at that 3-month plan. That's why I keep asking you guys, what do you have October, November, December? You know what I mean? Like you always want that. Because once you're a leader, it's really crucial. And especially when you're trying to be a leader, because there's that DIQ and then there's the next 3 months to get your bonus and you don't want to miss that either and all of that. So, all right, so let's briefly just go over this. It sounds like you're pretty well versed, but you'll maybe have some good questions. But like I said, since we're recording it, this will be perfect and you can ask me questions. And so when I kind of just wanted to fly through this part. I don't want to spend a lot of time on anything above a director. We'll get there. I do want you guys to have the mindset right now. So just like how it took you a little bit to get the mindset to recruit, like, okay, I've got to ask for recruits and that's scary.
Yeah.
And you're all getting over that hump now, right? Like now you see, like, I mean, you know, you're a perfect example. Like you've booked millions of parties and you've gotten lots of recruits because you just started asking.
Yeah.
So hopefully everybody's starting to get over that hump. It doesn't mean it's easy. I'm not saying it's not, because I'm 8 years later and there's still sometimes that I'm just like, ugh, all right, this person's on my chicken list. I've been thinking about them, you know, and I've just got to do it. It doesn't happen often, but every once in a while, it's still tough for me too, especially in person when you start getting back to home parties. That's, you know, that's a whole nother ball game too, to say, hey, I think you'd be great at this and whatever. But so I want you guys to, in the same sense that you started to think about the big picture, I do want you to constantly, as you're recruiting, I want you to treat them just like they're your next director. Like they're going to want to do what you want to do. You just want to do that out of the gate. Let them decide from there. Now, here's a perfect example with you where it almost felt like it was going south, right? Because you have a consultant right now that we're helping with your new consultant. And you know, you and I both had the conversation. So for anybody that's watching this recording, she had someone who all of a sudden was just like, this is, I don't want
to be your clone. It was like, whoa.
Yeah. And I don't even know that it was, a lot of times they get overwhelmed, right? And so that's what we're trying to do. And so, but we quickly were able to diffuse it. We found there was a story and all of that. So the point is you can always back off. It's at any time that they don't want to do things and they're not comfortable. It's the same thing as what you're doing with your customers. You can always slide back down that mountain, right? Like you just treat them like, and it truly is like the truth. And I am a living example that when your best friend joins with you, it's freaking fun. Like and that's all you're trying to get them to understand from the very beginning. If you guys, those of you that are watching this, you know, as you're watching me do this new consultant training, that's it. That's my focus. I'm not asking you to ask everybody and their brother yet. I get it. That's not comfortable. Nobody likes doing that out of the gate. I'm literally just asking them, who would it be fun to do this? Who would it be fun to learn? Neither one of you know what the heck you're doing, and we're going to teach you. So just always plant those seeds that those next directors they're out there. That's what you're looking for to keep moving up the ladder. But other than that, I don't want to spend a lot of time there because there's already so many things to memorize and understand and all of that. So with that said, senior consultant, and I know this, I think, Emily, you're the one that actually asked this question today. You get your 2%. To be a senior consultant, there really aren't any requirements for you personally. So there's not like the $1,000 that you have to sell and all of that different stuff. You just have to be active. I do like pointing out, this is a good time for me to say that if at any time, for some reason, you were to go inactive, you do lose your entire team indefinitely. So we never, ever want that to happen. Yeah. And I just like pointing out that if there's a life thing that happens where you're like, there's no way, something is going on crazy in my life for 3 months, I'm going to lose my title. You got to do it in a good amount of time. You can't wait till last minute. But you can put a freeze. You can, they will give you like a leave of absence, basically 31 will, if you have doctor's excuse, written records, whatever that looks like, right? Whatever the catastrophe maybe that's happening. So I always like just pointing that out because I've had a girl that it almost happened to, that she just was kind of like, oh, I can reactivate because it's super easy, right? To hit that reactivate button. Yeah. And I quickly was like, you're going to lose all 10 people underneath you. And she was a senior consultant at the time and really didn't have director on her mind. But I'm like, if you ever do, like, they're gone. They're indefinitely gone forever and ever and ever. Like, they will not give them back. So, and I never want that to happen. So I like pointing that out as another little senior consultant. again, since everyone's not on here, my goal for everyone, honestly, is by the new year, you all should be senior consultant. Like, I think Tammy is going to hear this one and be scared, because I think Tammy with an I just said, oh, I want to be by June. That's
She had her numbers though. She could so do it right now.
You've just got, it's a confidence thing, and it's saying out loud, and it's just knowing, you know what I mean? It's just, and also being okay if it doesn't happen. Knowing that if by January 1st, you just busted your booty trying to get it, be happy with that if it didn't happen, but go for it. Don't, the more you pull back, the more it's not going to happen. The more you're not going to do the things that you need to do to make it happen. Right. And that's my theory always. My thing is always, I shoot for the moon. If I land in the stars, so be it. That's still amazing, right? Like I set my goals up here. It's amazing when I hit them, but I can give myself grace when I hit them here and I did everything I was supposed to be. Ooh, it was still better than last month, right? That's why we're always trying to beat our best and have, that's why I encourage that. So I really, really like, everyone, I would like to see everyone getting that mindset. So that's my personal goal. Some of you, I think, can hit. Emily, yours is quicker. I mean, honestly, I think yours should be senior consultant this month. If you could pull it off, it might not be till next month. You don't have complete control over it,
Right.
obviously. But if you can at least just continue to encourage them to be booking parties, having their own parties, playing along with the gnome training I've got going on right now, just staying in touch with them, it's definitely possible for you for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Director overrides, just this question gets asked. So this is all about pay right here, right now. And this is because it got adjusted a little bit ago. So that's why I wanted to go over this too. So our 10% bonus is back, and we'll go over that in a minute. We'll show, and then we'll talk about generations in a minute. You get 3%. It's very confusing. And I told them on the last call, you will probably have to ask me 10 more times. And I'm not even kidding, because, and be comfortable, be okay with that, because I had to. I mean, there's been times a year into my career, 2 years into my career that these types of things can get confusing. There's little pieces to it that can be, the general part of it is pretty easy, but there's little facets and little things that happen, and don't ever be afraid to double check, because that's how you miss out on things too. If you're doubting yourself, you know what I mean? And it's happened. Like I said, I've had directors miss bonuses and just different things because we didn't cross all our T's and dot all our I's and ask all the questions and do all the things. So, all right. And like I said, I don't want to spend, but it's just, you can see it's amazing. It just goes up from there. The more percentages you start getting, right, as you go up, which just makes it fun. That's why you're always looking for those. You're ideally looking not only for recruiting right now, but you're hoping she wants to do what you want to do and she wants to move up too. Okay, so again, you're amazing. You're ahead of the game. You've printed this off and you've got all your goals. Glossary of terms. I'm not saying go quiz yourself or anything crazy like that, but the fact that you've printed it off and you just know you want to keep glancing at it, it will help. It will help a ton. And you're going to have it right at your fingertips to always go look. But we have TOT too.
I had to look up Pika so many times and then wait.
And
when Scott said, he was like, Pika, Pika, Pika. And I'm like, okay, I get it now.
Yes. I love that he does that. The biggest thing with Pika, since you've brought that up, that I always like to remind people is that it has to be your recruit. Pikas can only ever be yours. So back to that situation we were talking about, let's say that senior consultant went inactive and all of those people roll up to you. So let's say you do have a senior consultant underneath you and she decides to just be done. She's inactive, right? And her people roll up. They are part of your Gen Zero, which we'll get to generation. They are part of your team, but they are never, ever your Pika, because you did not recruit them. So
they're not personally yours. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. And as a director, which we're scrolling down and we're getting there, that's what you have to have is 4 Pikas at all times to keep your pay and all of that. So, all right, so let's go down to this slide. I kind of skipped over the senior consultant because we really talked about it. It's having a couple of recruits and you get that 2% override. Okay, director. And if anybody has questions on senior consultants after you look at it, please just always ask. So the qualifications you'll see right up here are that you have to have 1,000 in PV, you have to have 4,000 total team, and that includes yours. It asks a lot. Yes, it can be just you. You can have all 4,000. Okay, if that's how it works, if that's how the cookie crumbles. But you have to have those 4 Pikas. So unfortunately, you can't just be rocking it and have 4,000 and be a director. You have to always have the Pikas, and that's where it talks about. It says roll-ups do not count. So
Overrides, once again, we talked about 10%, 3%, Gen 1. So let's talk about Gen 0, Gen 1. Let's talk about what Gen 0 is and what Gen 1 is. So Gen 0, you'll see this line across here, is everyone that is not in between you and another director. So we're going to pretend for a second with you, we're going to talk like Michelle is a director still, or Crystal Lynn or something like that. That's how I'm going to give examples kind of. So right now, because Michelle's not a director, she lost her title a while ago or whatever and hasn't wanted to get it back as of right now. There's no director in between you and I. So even though you're under Crystal Lynn, who's under Michelle, you are all my Gen 0 right now. You're not on my PICAs. Michelle's my only PICA. Even though Crystal Lynn's a senior consultant, that's not a director. That's just an extra little perk, right? So you are all still part of my Gen 0. Should Michelle become a director, then you're under her. Then you become my Gen 1. So you'll see over here on the right, that would be Michelle as a director. Then you and Crystal Lynn are her Gen 1. Again, Crystal Lynn's her only PICA. You are part of her Gen 1. Let's say Michelle's not. Let's say Crystal Lynn is. So again, you're then part of Crystal Lynn's. You're my Gen 1. Now, sometimes it will go even deeper than that. So let's use again that example. Let's say Michelle becomes a director, Crystal Lynn becomes a director, and you're still under them. You are my Gen 2, and we no longer get overrides on Gen 2. We used to, and I had this as a full disclosure too, which I'll bring this up now. With everything that's happened with our new, our company having the people come in and you know, reallocate, and you know, we've got part ownership and all that, this could change again. And it's probably going to, like, it's the writing's on the wall that things are going to change in our career path. So just be prepared and patient for that too. Most of us, when we look at what they've done with Pampered Chef, it's cool. It's somewhere in between what we've had before and what we have now. I mean, there's still going to be generations. There's still going to be stuff. And it could be a mixture of things. It can be a mixture of saving the money company, or the company money, I said that backwards, which is crucial. You know, I mean, we're at a place where that's what they're coming in for. That's what they need to do, right? Like, we've got to move forward. They've got to save, the company's got to save money where they can. But it can also be the opposite. Sometimes it can be that it's going to help us work harder to do something for them that's going to make more money, and so they're going to give us more money too, right? If we work harder. So who knows what that looks like? But I do just want it, since we'll date this, since other people may watch it, October 22nd, 2020. Yeah. Things could change if you're watching this as a career path video that I've made. So does that make sense to you, how Gen 0 and Gen 1 kind of work? Basically, it's the director in between is where it changes. And the cool thing is we still get Gen 1. So you still get, as a director, you know, if you get directors underneath you, you're going to get 2%. And let's look at senior director, because it is fun. Because let's say you've got 2 directors, right? And it's not
in my printout yet.
That's okay. But just a glance on it, the percentages go up. So not only do you get more on your Gen 0, the 5%, and you're a little bummed because you're like, oh, but I lost some of those people. So, like, you know, I could look at it as like, oh, when Emily becomes a director, I'm going to lose your people and I'm not going to get your sales, right? But as I get 2 of those directors underneath me, I'm moving up to the senior director and getting even more. I'm getting back to where I was and then some. So it's just like recruiting. It's the same thing.
You're not a senior director?
I am a senior director right now. Yeah, no, I was just using it.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I was just saying it hypothetically. And
it just keeps going from there. Like I said, I don't want to spend a ton of time into each level, but I want to come down here and just talk about requirements, make sure everything's kind of crystal clear again. This just gives an overview exactly of what we said. The bonus. So let's talk about DIQ and bonus, because I think we missed the DIQ. Where is that? And what page is that you're on?
10. 10.
Let me find 10, since you've got it right there. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay. And then if we go down, yeah, we want to look at this director maintenance requirements.
Okay.
So if you just slide across here, again, you'll see the 1,000, the 4,000, the 4 PICAs, what you get. The personal sales bonus, 10%. I kind of touched on that. I didn't really keep finishing that. That had went away. It's back. As you know, we had like the special summer bonus that you got it. Now it's back for directors only.
It was really awesome. They did it during COVID, but quite frankly, we were all pretty, like, we really pushed really hard that needed to be something for leaders only. For a while it wasn't, and it didn't give an incentive. Like, why would you want to be a leader? Like, what's the point? And so a lot of us leaders really pushed, like, how are we ever going to get leaders underneath us? Nobody's gonna want to be a leader if there's not an extra bonus for you besides just 3%. You know, I mean, 3% is nice, but when you're first starting off, it's just $100. And I don't mean to sound like it's just $100, but that, to some people, that looks like, no, that's too much work for $100, right? Like, they don't understand what that seems like. So anywho, that's kind of where that's at. So we're all tickled that the 10% is back. It's just a director only bonus. And, you know, if you want that, you work for it. Okay, so maintenance requirements, super important. So because you want to talk about months now. So when you don't hit those stats in 1 month, you don't get paid at the director level. So you get paid at a senior consultant. If you didn't, you know, you let's say you have one less PICA, let's say one of your girls went inactive and you've only got 3 PICAs, or let's say you just had a rough month and you didn't hit your 1,000, or your team didn't hit her 4,000, or whatever that looks like, you don't get paid at. That can happen for 3 months. So it's very similar to that $200 rolling 3-month that we have for staying active. After 3 months, you actually lose your title. So now you've got to work for your title again. The cool thing is you used to have to completely do it over. They used to make you get 4 more PICAs to get your title back. Yeah. We don't do that anymore. Your PICA, if you get your 4 PICAs in any way, shape, or form, you can have someone reactivate, get their 200 in, become a PICA, whatever it looks like to get, if it's PICAs. We're saying, for example's sake, that it's PICAs, right? Then you do have to DIQ again. So you always will have to, if you lose your title, you do have to DIQ again before you can hit your director. Now, what is DIQ? Director in qualifying is what DIQ stands for. So you have to hit those stats 1 month. You don't get paid it as a director. So basically you have to hit those stats 2 months in a row before you finally get paid as a director. So that's why I say, back to like one of the most bummer things is that you hit it, you're so excited, oh my gosh, I DIQ in November, and then December I don't hit it. You have to DIQ again in January before you can get paid at it in February. So that's why we're back to what I talked about at the beginning, that 3-month plan is so crucial. Like, looking ahead is always, you know, you're always trying to get, and not just you want to work on your team. So, and while I'm saying team, perfect opportunity to say, what does that number look like? I like to see you and your team total to have 15 parties. That is the comfortable spot that you can lose about 5 parties total as a team, 5 flops, lose them, whatever you want to say, and hit your average 500 on the other 10, which we know the industry average is above that, but this is just a safe place, right? Doesn't mean it can't be done in less than 15 parties, but this is a really good goal, safe place. You're going to hit 5,000. Now, I don't care what that combo is. I don't care if 10 of those parties are yours and 5 of your team. I mean, obviously I'd like to see your team doing more for you, right? You don't want to be doing all of the work, but you count as part of that 15. And that's the number that I like to see as a goal as you're getting closer to the DIQ and the director. Like, that's what you're looking at. That's what you're always trying to do. So for all of you that are going to be watching this, that's your goal now. Like, just go for it now. And it doesn't mean you're not always going to hit it, but just constantly be asking your team, because everybody's starting to get people underneath them, how many parties they have. Paint the vision for them. Tell them that you want to be director, that this is what you're working for, and that you would like to have 15 parties. And you just need to know, what do they have? Just make it as simple as, Danielle posts every month that number where we're all posting our parties. Make sure you're commenting on it. Make sure you're letting me know. And again, make it be super, like, you know, super pressure free with them. It doesn't matter what your number is. This is your goal, right? What do you want your number to be, and what is your number? That's all you're doing with them. You're not telling them they need to have 3 parties. Like, this is what I need for you to be part of my team, right? Like, that's never the feeling. It's always just right. It's still about her, but it's painting the picture what you are working towards, and you want her to be part of that. You want her to be part of your team. You know, that's what you'd love to be doing what Danielle's doing. And Tammy, I wonder how long ago she tried to be here. Sometimes I don't see those things. Tammy, if you're joining, she'll get to watch the recording. I know she's not feeling well anyways. We'll give just a minute. I'm almost time's up for me too. We have to go somewhere. We have an outdoor event that a friend is having, but we're getting through this really good. So
Second, I'll have the other one for you.
Okay.
Hi.
We're just going over career path again, and this time hopefully my recording is working. So you'll just want to watch the recording, to be honest. We're almost done.
Oh, didn't we just start?
No, 5:30.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was supposed to
Oh,
be.
you're all right. You're okay. I am going to mute you though for just a minute because you got background for a second. Or can you mute if you've got, there you go. You're good. Okay. So yeah, Tammy, don't worry. We just went through, I did a better job of going through the career path. The Zoom wasn't cutting out like it was last time. It's recorded. So everyone, you can just rewatch it, Tammy. It's not huge. Okay, so Emily, back to DIQ. So that was the one thing that we kind of jumped to a lot of things, but I know someone else, I think other Tammy with an I asked what DIQ is. So that's hitting all of those stats. And let's pretend that you want to do it November. You hit all of those stats in November. Yay, you DIQ'd. You don't get paid at anything yet from November, so you don't get any of those overrides. Then you've got to hit it in December. You hit it in December, yes, you're in. You are officially a director. Now let's talk about the bonus, which has got to be down here somewhere. Here we go. So directors can have the opportunity to get $1,000 bonus.
Mhm.
And here we are. Here's an example. So it's basically a 4-month process to get that bonus. And this is it. This is your only chance for the bonus. So re-promotes can never, ever go for the bonus again. So this example is giving that you hit it in January. You have all your qualifications, don't get the pay, don't get the override, but you DIQ'd. Then you're trying to hit it in February, March, and April. You hit all of those and you get paid at, because everything's where it needs to be, the 1,000, the 4,000, the 4 picas, you get $1,000 bonus. So I never, ever, ever want to see directors miss that. You always want to be set up really good, which again brings me back. I sound like I'm repeating this over and over again, but that's why we're always looking at that 3-month, and in this case, even a 4-month picture. You're always looking at that. So really quick, it's 6 o'clock. I got to go really quick, but I want to end with just a couple more things before I let you guys go that look at that picture. I'm afraid of December right now. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. Okay. And I really want us to focus on that. December is always a hard month. I'm going to be super honest. It seems like it shouldn't be, but it's short. It's always super short. I'm afraid it's going to be even shorter. I'm not banking on anything in December as far as parties. I know 31 has given us that December 8th, but they don't have control over that. They really don't. They cannot predict what the heck is going to happen with COVID, what lockdowns are going to be like in our country and other countries. You know, the freight's coming over. I don't feel comfortable with it. I felt good about them being honest and telling us it's going to be 3 to 5 weeks. And I was like, let's just roll with that, right? So that is how I'm treating my business. But with that said, I don't want any of you guys to DIQ in November and then December is a stinker, right? Like some of you have that opportunity, or I just don't want the ball to get rolling. And December is such a bummer because this is what you guys will come back from December if something happened. I don't want you to have to do that, but you will. But your team might not. When they have a month with nothing, sometimes they're just done. It's just easy to be done. So I don't want that to happen with you guys either, right? Whether it's not a DIQ until all the way till January because it's just still a struggle, I just don't want you to lose their attention. I don't want you to lose any of that. So I'd like us to brainstorm about that. Not right now, but I'm gonna. These are my ideas that I'm gonna give you really briefly, and then I'd really like us all. I'm working with Tracy and Shannon and all my other big hitters too, and my accountability groups. We are all brainstorming like crazy about December. Some of it will be stuff that only we can do. And I mean that in the sense that sometimes it's not duplicatable. It's those hard workers that will do it, but we need to come up with enough things that are also duplicatable that our teams will do also. Some ideas that I've had are things like bingos, any type of game, any type of fun activity that you could do through December. Another idea that Kate Moore had that I think is brilliant is early December, focusing on your New Year's resolutions because shipping is taking so long. So if you're hitting the gym, they need gym bags. So you're pushing that in early December, maybe even late November, to be honest. Or you're pushing organization, which more than likely is our January special a lot of times. We don't know that for sure, but it really is. But some people are organizing January, so you're pushing the cubes and the double duty caddies and all of that kind of stuff. Some of the things that can be duplicatable, not for everyone, are things like a gift-a-palooza. And if you're not familiar with those, It is basically a customer appreciation party of some sort. I always did mine in person, so I am having to pivot hard because I don't know what the online ones look like. I do something for either all of my hostesses, all of my club members. Sometimes I've done all my customers. I think my 6th year I did that. If you had done anything with me in 6 years, I was pushing the invites out. And we played bingo, we played games. I do commercials in between, lots of giveaways. They get points just like they would for any other party. Like if they potluck style, if they brought something to eat, if they brought a friend, if they brought orders and so on and so forth. So it's going to look similar to that online, but it's just different because it's different, right? So we can brainstorm that more, but that's definitely something to think about. And again, some of your newer consultants, that's just not going to be an option for them yet. They're not going to be ready for that. Another thing that's not always ready for newer consultants, and that's some of this some of you in the group even, I mean, Tammy and Connie and some of them have just learned too, is to kind of flip your product. So that's going to be a huge focus for me in December. I was going to have my sale sooner than later. I'm not. I'm going to wait on my personal sale until shipping is like, they can't get things from us anymore. So they're going to shop the shelf for me. They're going to shop my items. I may or may not discount all of them. My club members might get a discount because I'm always trying to give them something, but I may instead I have this as cash and carry, or I can get it out in the mail to you, at least from the post office, whatever that deadline looks like, because the post office will give deadlines, right? Or like I said, porch pickups, that sort of thing. But the point being is you can also flip that. So you can flip that and just get new product for yourself as well. New display items, new things that you just want, whatever that looks like. And that's not always possible, like I said, for us, that's not always duplicatable. I'll throw it out there for some people, but you can't count on, that goes into where I'm a huge believer in, like, don't spend on your business. Don't, all of that. I don't want them thinking they need to go buy cash and carry. I'm literally talking about the stock you have that maybe you just don't want, or that you've just accumulated because it was free, or that sort of thing. Another idea, and this goes hand in hand with what I talked about with you, Emily, is a fundraiser in November that gives you free things for December. So that's that same concept. So the question on the team page today was, why is a fundraiser in January super exciting and fun? Because the new catalog starts in February. So if you have
to get away.
Yeah, right. So if you have a fundraiser in January, you can carry over your hostess benefits, assuming you do your fundraiser the way I do. You give your commissions or a portion of your commissions and you keep the hostess benefits. Then February 1st, boom, you have all of this. Let's say you had $1,000 fundraiser, maybe even a $2,000 fundraiser. You're going to have an amazing hostess benefits for yourself February 1st. We can do that same thing with November. So that would be something that you could push. That's do you see like the snowball effect? So like if they have a fundraiser in November, they just get themselves free products. Maybe they focus on like what are our hot items, large utility totes, right? Some thermals, little carry-all caddies, things that they know they're going to be able to get rid of in December as cash and carry. And then they just flip it again and they turn it into their own party, and it just can keep snowballing. Some people run their business that way. Some people actually constantly do a cash and carry and snowball. I just don't have time for it. To me, there's more bang for my buck to party. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. Like I have some friends that do like legitimately $4,000 and $5,000 a month by doing this. Like they do the shop the shelf thing, right? So there's definitely money to be made there. But like I said, you gotta have a really good conversation with your new girls with that. That's my only suggestion there. Don't ever, really make sure you're really explaining that to her, because I don't want her to get into, I'll just be honest, the LuLaRoe, Mary Kay feeling where they have to keep all this stock, right? Because that's never, ever what I want someone to do in this business, ever, 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 ever. Like it's gross to me, super, super gross. I love that we can have a $99 kit that just works for us, that you're not buying anything else after that if you play your cards right and party and do what you need to do. So I don't ever want her to feel that way either. If she chooses it, that's her own thing. Like if she chooses it, she wants to try to do it and sell it at vendor events and all those things. Like I get it. So, okay. So, and then you guys all know how I feel about January. Like January, you got to be booking now. And then, like I said, fundraisers in January. So fundraisers are something you can always be pushing her to do also. So keep that in mind for your teams as well. That's another way you could save December, is there's always fundraisers. And again, you might have to focus that you might have to say to them, Well, why would someone shop in December if they're not going to get it? Well, I don't know about you, but I get Christmas money. My family we all just give each other money. It's like insane. I always say we need to stop it, but we do. Like my parents give us money and the grandparents, and so we have money to shop with. I get to shop for myself always. So there's going to be those people, and there are plenty. It's not everyone. Some people are poor. Don't get me wrong. Some people spend everything they have for Christmas and then they're poor, but some people know they get to spoil themselves after Christmas. There's back to those New Year's resolutions that we talked about. And there's back to just people spend. I don't care what you say. People buy their purses when they want a purse. I mean, you know what I mean? Like they just do. When they need a thermal and they need a purse, they just do. So a fundraiser in December could work. Now, normally I would say you're going to see all your family. You can get orders from them. I don't know what COVID's going to look like. I don't know how that's going to look this year. But that doesn't mean still that there's not Facebook parties and other ways to do fundraisers, right? It might not always be collecting from grandma and aunts and all of that, if that's how COVID makes things happen. But okay, I hate to cut you guys off, but I'm definitely running late. I think we hit everything. Q&A, anybody that watches this, Tammy with a Y, make sure you go back and just watch the beginning. I think you got it. I think we went over it enough that you got it. But
Yeah, I think we went over this last week.
Did.
Yeah.
I did better this time, I think. It wasn't cutting out. I
You
wasn't
did great last week. You did fine last week.
I kept getting so distracted though with like it getting cut out. So I think we busted it
It's
out.
all good.
Hopefully we'll all be on the same page with this, but I will repeat again, like I said to Emily and I said last week, please don't ever be embarrassed if you literally ask me some of the same questions 10 freaking times. I'm not kidding you. I had to do the same thing. And I would go ask a different person every time because I felt stupid because I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm not getting this. Please don't, because that is how mistakes happen. That's how you miss bonuses. That's how you miss getting paid at your title. Like it will take several months of being a director before it really makes sense. And your girls will start asking you these questions and you won't know the answers, and it's okay. Always ask me. I pretty much have it all figured out now. And if I don't, I know who to ask if I don't have the answers for you too. So that's my biggest.
Danielle, do you want me to send you my numbers and stuff for what you wanted? I think I did it last week, didn't I?
Yeah, you did, I think. But yes, I just wanted to revisit it because not everybody was there.
Okay.
But yeah, if everybody wants to just send me those personally, I want to just kind of keep tracking of them, and I just want to keep us all accountable. We all need to be making sure that we're, you've got your goals, and are you there yet? How many parties do you have for November? And so yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I got to get the heck out of here. I got to be side of Owasso in 20 minutes. So
be careful.
I will. If we're late, we're late. It's okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.